Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Saturday and we've got some stuff to talk about, so let's jump right into it. So you may have actually noticed that Miko is not in our video this week, and that's because he hasn't been feeling 1000%, so I'm kind of going to give him a bit of time to recover. He has a vet appointment. I expect nothing to be immensely wrong, and for him to be back as early as next week, potentially if they give him a little bit of medication to take, I'll give him that time off where he's not in the video. He's not happy about the situation, as you know, he's a bit of an attention type of dog, wants to be everywhere I am, and he's kind of looking at me off camera wondering why he can't be in the video. But I don't want him to be in the video and not be feeling well. So just know everything is okay. He is still the same cute little dog who wants you to like, subscribe, and all that. But let's jump into today's topic, because today's topic is talking about James Gunn. Some of the things he said recently, and more specifically, a lot of the things he revealed in the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast, which you took part in recently. And the first thing I wanted to talk about was about Ryan Reynolds returning as Green Lantern, because he revealed that he had asked Ryan Reynolds to return as Green Lantern. A bit tongue-in-cheek, mind you, because he never actually expected Ryan Reynolds to come back. And Ryan Reynolds kind of told him no, he was never coming back. So you might remember a couple years back when the Snyder Cut was happening and Green Lantern was hinted at, and everybody thought Green Lantern was going to be looking in the window at Alfred. Well, that was never going to happen. It was never actually going to be the Green Lantern played by Ryan Reynolds. This just was never going to be a thing. And I know a lot of people tried to run with that like this could have happened. It never could have happened, because Ryan Reynolds was done with the character of Green Lantern. Now, the Green Lantern movie wasn't a failure, but it just didn't have that same level of success that they had actually hoped for. And then eventually he got to play his dream role in Deadpool. So that's his dream comic book character. So to have him come back as any other characters in any other companies or franchises just wasn't going to be a thing that was going to happen. Next up, James Gunn actually revealed that he contemplated making Robert Pattinson the DCU's Batman. Now, this is crazy, because he was talking to Josh Horowitz of the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast to discuss the first entry in the DCU, Creature Commandos, as well as several other projects in development. And he was asked whether or not there was ever any consideration to make Pattinson's Batman from Matt Reeves' Batman 2022 part of the DCU. And Gunn surprisingly admitted that he contemplated it. He said, yeah, I've contemplated it, yeah. I contemplate everything. I talk about everything. Now, this is what a good director, writer, producer, and studio head does. They contemplate everything that they can. And they don't leave anything out of the conversation. So it was discussed as to whether he could have been part of the DCU or not. However, it looks like the Batman epic crime saga will remain unconnected to the DCU. Gunn explained to Horowitz that he wants the DC studios to produce a nice mix of DCU and Elseworld projects. Now, mind you, a lot of people talked about this also recently. Some of the people who have been hating on James Gunn talked about how he's going to be canceling a lot of projects. And this is confirmation that that's not true. He explicitly does want Elseworld projects to be a part of the DCU, because in order to have these Elseworld projects be a part of it, it makes it more fun. Gunn explained that he's committed to telling both stories in the DCU and telling Elseworld stories. He wants the freedom to tell Elseworld stories. He shared, mentioning that he doesn't want to not be able to adapt Superman Red Son simply because it wouldn't work within the confines of the DCU. We want to be able to play with these characters in different ways, Gunn added. That being so open to exploring alternate takes on the superheroes is part of the fun of DC. Now, it has also been said that the Batman in the DCU will be significantly older than Pattinson's take on the Caped Crusader, who was introduced in the 2022 movie. And the DCU Batman movie, currently titled Brave and the Bold, will be based on the 2006 comic book story arc Batman and Son by writer Grant Morrison and artist Andy Kubert. The storyline focuses on Bruce Wayne learning that he has fathered a son, Damian, with Talia al Ghul, the daughter of his nemesis. With Damian specifically depicted as being between the ages of 10 and 13, Bruce Wayne will likely need to be played by an older actor and more established in his crime-fighting career than Pattinson's version, who is only in his second year of being Batman. The Brave and the Bold does not have a release date, but that's interesting to talk about because the Batman 2 movie is scheduled to be in theaters on October 2026. Now, a lot of people have talked about whether or not this is going to happen. I actually do think this is going to happen. I think it's going to be one of those things that surprises people because James Gunn seems very open to doing out of this world stories. So Superman Red Son, if you don't know, is an extraordinary comic book. It is an extraordinary, wonderful little side story that takes Superman in a direction that is just so different. And I love the idea that he's willing to explore things like that. It sounds like it's a lot of fun. Now, he was also asked if he would take over Marvel. So the question was posed. If Kevin Feige came to you and said he was done over at Marvel and didn't want to run it anymore, would you be open to taking over Marvel? And James Gunn said, no. He said, would I consider it? Yes, I would consider it. He said a lot of people think he's lying when he says he don't want to be the Kevin Feige of the DC universe. That he don't want to be the Kevin Feige figure, but he really doesn't want to be that person because he doesn't want to fulfill that job. He said Kevin Feige kind of does it all. And he has Peter Safran. That's kind of the thing. He has Peter Safran to help out with that. But would he consider actually running the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Of course, anyone would consider that. But ultimately, he kind of said he doesn't want that job. He's happy where he's at DC, being the head of the studio and being able to tell stories along with other great writers, directors, and producers. So that's something that excites me as well, because just hearing him say he wants to do elseworld stories, he doesn't want to be the Kevin Feige, he doesn't need all that connective tissue, but there's going to be an overarching story that's going to sort of go in line with everything. But each DC movie is going to feel different from all of the ones that came before it. And that's kind of a good thing because not all the characters live in the same type of environment or have the same type of attitude. And when they don't live in the same environment, they don't have the same type of attitude. It kind of does take you into new ways that you can portray a superhero, that you can actually have this world come to life. And I think that's a great thing. We've already seen this sort of happen with Creature Commandos, as Creature Commandos is sort of a TVMA cartoon. It's a very adult-oriented cartoon, but it has connective tissues that are going to actually make it worthwhile with the rest of the DC universe. So you can kind of already see from the first 2 episodes just how much it's going to connect. Now, we will actually be doing our review of those first 2 episodes tomorrow night, so stay tuned for that. Now, the other question that they proposed was, would he be involved if Guardians of the Galaxy continued in the MCU? And he said legally he doesn't know what that would entail, that he doesn't know about the legalities of that situation. But then, of course, he would love to somehow be involved. That he has talked to Chris Pratt about Star-Lord and Star-Lord's future. And you might remember that Star-Lord was actually revealed to be returning in the MCU already. So we already know he's going to be returning. It's just, will James Gunn be involved? And James Gunn said he looks forward to seeing what they do with the Star-Lord character, but he doesn't really know that he's going to be involved. At least that's sort of what he kind of hinted at in this, that he doesn't think he'll be involved, but he's given them their blessing to move on and see what they have to tell story-wise for the Guardians of the Galaxy. So all that's kind of very interesting information. But what does this mean for Superman? Because the Superman movie and the DCU that he's running is very different from Marvel, but yet it's kind of being a little bit the same. Marvel doesn't have a lot of elseworld type of stories or what if stories, if you will. They do have the series What If that takes place, and that's sort of this animated series that gives you all these different what if scenarios, just like the comic book of the same title. But in terms of James Gunn, telling these stories in a really strange and unique way, getting directors and writers and talent that you wouldn't normally expect to come in and play these roles to bring these things to life is something that he excels at. And that's why I think that this is going to end up being a lot better than we thought. So that is where I'm going to leave it off to you guys. I want to know what you guys think about all of this. Do you like the concept of what you've heard so far from the DCU? Are you intrigued by some of the things that James Gunn said recently? And do you think that it's going to be a lot of fun? I want to hear from you guys. So make sure you leave me those comments in the comment box below. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to share this video with all of your friends so they can be a part of this crazy conversation as well. Then don't forget to hit that like button. It's free. It helps the channel and we really do appreciate it. And Miko, even though you can't see him, wants more subscribers, and you don't want to disappoint Miko, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell while you're down there so you don't miss a single video we do. And then friends, at the end of the day, I know it, you know it. Fandom is family.